Hi, everybody. It's Charles Hoskinson here. I just wanted to have a brief live stream and talk about some recent events that have occurred as of today. Right around 3 p.m. London time in the UK, Michael Parsons met with Pascal Schmidt and his lawyers and signed a resignation. And Pascal has filed that. And the foundation, very shortly thereafter, made an announcement that Michael Parsons will be stepping down from the Cardano Foundation effective immediately. What this means is that at the moment, Pascal is the current custodian of the foundation and will be in charge of the transition to reinvigorate and reconstruct the foundation. There are a lot of things that have to be done between now and when the foundation can become effective as an entity. There were some filings made with ESA that have to be resolved, and there's a litany of administrative tasks that have to be resolved, and lots of paperwork to be filed and parsed. In addition, a lot of things need to happen with the personnel of the foundation. Before Michael Parsons resigned, we reached out to the entire community management core of the foundation. There were 4 members there, and we made offers for them to leave the foundation and join IOHK. All 4 of them accepted and transferred over to IOHK, and we were preparing to try to take more foundation members and have them leave the foundation and join us so that they could continue their work undisrupted while the foundation was in a crisis. They'll stay with IOHK for the time being, just so that we can monitor the situation. In addition, IOHK will be made available to assist the foundation in building basic business processes, such as an HR management system and helping them wherever they need assistance. We'll be there for any questions FINMA, ESA, or any other Swiss regulatory body may have and assisting the foundation to get to a state where it has the ability to begin appointing new board members. There's really 3 things that need to be done. First, the foundation needs to restore its credibility and trust with you, the community. I'd like to thank the Guardians of Cardano and the over 6,000 people who signed the petition for their incredible vigilant work, their investigative work, their passion, and their belief in the project as a whole, despite the fact that certain members of the project didn't live up to their social contract. It really was quite humbling to see how much passion and how much hard work, all uncompensated, that people did for the good of Cardano as a whole. So a corollary to that is that the community as a whole has a strained relationship at the moment with the Cardano Foundation. So now that Parsons is gone, the foundation needs to work very hard to restore its trust, faith, and credibility and belief within the Cardano community. Second, the foundation needs to be a good citizen within the Swiss jurisdiction. It is a Swiss foundation, and my belief is it does need to make some investments in that jurisdiction and build up its presence in that jurisdiction so it can continue to operate without disruption and continue to operate as a viable, effective entity within that ecosystem. And finally, the foundation can take this recent crisis as an opportunity to reinvent itself and become a bastion of good governance. It was quite unfortunate that for over 2 years, the foundation was rather ineffective in everything from exchange listings to lobbying and regulatory outreach to basic community management goals. But now it can no longer rest on the laurels of prior directors and prior decisions. It has to actually do things. It actually has to move forward. The foundation as an entity has to become effective for you, the community. And it cannot do that alone, and it cannot do that unilaterally. It's a 2-way relationship, and it must work with the community. So Emergo IOHK and the remaining members of the Cardano Foundation, we're hopefully going to be able to work together after the next 1 or 2 months of cleanup occur to try to figure out a permanent form of governance for the foundation. Now, I have a personal wish list. I'd like some more democracy. I'd like at least 7 board members at the foundation. I'd like a very skilled and prominent executive director who has the faith and confidence of the community. I'd like to see a diversity in community management with large grants in the hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars be given to many different organizations that are responsible for building Cardano communities across the globe. And I'd also like to see the foundation invest very heavily in Japan to make sure that ADA gets proper representation in that jurisdiction, because it frankly never really has the way it deserves, given that we have such a strong and great community there. But anyway, this is all going to come at some point in the future, and we now have a great community holding the foundation accountable in its restructuring and in its path forward. For my part, I was just recently in Switzerland, and I monitored the situation on the ground, had a great opportunity to meet with Pascal and have numerous conversations with regulators, with the Crypto Valley, and various power interests there. And I'm very optimistic that we can find a way to clean up everything in a way that the community will be happy with, all be happy with, and that will give Cardano the best chance to move forward. It is also important to point out that in Parsons leaving, there was no severance paid and no exchange of funds. He left of his own will and resigned with no strings attached. So it's nice to know that he did the right thing, and it's nice to know that we kept our integrity and principles as an ecosystem in that departure. So I'm very happy with the end result. I'm exceedingly unhappy with that it took this long and that Cardano didn't quite get what it deserved. And I'm just glad that this period of time is over. And I'm just glad that the community as a whole came together in the way it did. And the community as a whole cares so deeply about this project. So anyway, tonight we celebrate. And tomorrow we wake up realizing that we have a lot of work to do. And there's a lot of people to hire. There's a lot of documents to file. There's a great board of directors that needs to be constructed. And there's a lot of money that needs to be spent and invested in getting this ecosystem where it needs to go. The good news is that we have a lot of wonderful things to match the community growth that's going to occur. Plutus Fest is coming up in December, and we're going to, for the first time ever, show off Plutus and Marlowe and let people rate smart contracts and have a great chance to understand this new innovation that we brought to the space. Our sidechains research line is really just incredible. There's a wonderful 14-part series on NEPA POWs that Sebastian from Amerigo did, and I'd highly encourage anyone curious about what we're doing in that space to watch those videos. Ouroboros is just streaming along. We have many prototypes we've created. We have new variants of the protocol coming out almost monthly, it seems, from privacy-preserving ones to BFT ones. We see great acceleration and progress with the Rust Cardano code base, and the Cardano rewrite is progressing with great speed. So Shelley is coming, and it looks really interesting. There's also a lot of other innovation that's coming as well. We've started talks with a company called Tangem, Tangem, and they have these amazing, incredibly low-cost hardware wallets, and our hope is to procure a relationship with them to have a Cardano wallet. Ledger support will be coming soon, first with Yoroi and then later on with Daedalus. Daedalus is evolving quite rapidly. 1.4 has just left the first round of QA, and large-scale regression testing is underway. Cardano testnet is just about out, and many more good things to come soon. So given that delegation and all these things and consensus and smart contracts are coming soon, and given that we're just about to have a big surge on the community management side and investments accordingly, I think Q1 of 2019 is going to be probably one of the best of times for this project in its entire history. But not to be relaxed, there's a lot to do. The Cardano improvement proposal process has to be fleshed out. We have to begin having real discussions about how we're going to roll out the treasury system. And we also have to have some real discussions about how we're going to introduce some democratic processes into acceptance of Cardano improvement proposals as we move post-Shelley and post-Goguen. So that will come. And now that the foundation's back into the fold, we can reinvigorate it to become an effective member to provide as much support as possible, including direct subsidies to specialized research facilities to come up with these things. I also care a lot about the DAOification of the foundation's facility, and that was supposed to be one of the planks of its research agenda. So our hope is that as things recover, it can start investing large amounts of money into procuring good researchers to figure out how it can take itself from a legal entity within a jurisdiction to a more decentralized entity that better represents the will of the holders of ADA. So these discussions will occur in the future. For now, it's just administrative things to do. There's a lot of things that have to be unwound. There's a lot of transparency that needs to occur. And IOHK will be available whenever and wherever possible to assist in that process. And we have full confidence in Pascal's leadership and his ability to manage that process, as well as MME and KF and others who have been heavily involved in this affair. So overall, good day. Overall, wonderful step forward in the community's ability to get it where it needs to go. And I really look forward to seeing how things continue to evolve and how the ecosystem can continue to grow. I also look forward to the upcoming podcast called The Cardano Effect. Philip and Rick, I think, are going to do a phenomenal job. And we also invited them to come out to Plutus Fest. So hopefully I'll be able to meet them in person for the first time ever. And hopefully they'll be able to do some episodes there and interview Phil Wadler and Manuel Chavardi and the rest of the people on that team, including Duncan. So that's all I have to say here. Thank you guys for your time. And let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. But as for now, it's just a cleanup, revitalization, and then getting to the business of building something for the future. Cheers.